Atlanta is burning, and the Sanders boys are laughing in Paris. Two words from Deion Sanders, my house, instantly reminded the NFL who really runs the city of Atlanta. While the Falcons scramble with one of the most controversial coaching hires in recent memory, Coach Prime is calmly showing that legacy, swagger, and influence aren't defined by the front office. Kevin Stefanski arrives as head coach, bringing along Tommy Rees, a Duke fans fear could turn Atlanta into a Cleveland rerun. Social media is erupting, tickets are at risk, and fans are furious, but far from the chaos, Shedeur and Shedeur Sanders are taking over Paris Fashion Week. Rookie stars, global endorsements, and family charisma make them more than athletes, they're cultural icons. This story isn't just about football, it's about power, influence, and who truly controls the game both on and off the field. Atlanta is in turmoil, and it all started with one shocking announcement: Kevin Stefanski leaving Cleveland to become the Falcons' new head coach. On paper, the hire might look like stability, but in Atlanta it's being perceived as anything but. As Stefanski arrives with his offensive coordinator, Tommy Rees, a move fans immediately labeled the buddy system. Together, they've brought with them a track record full of missed opportunities, quarterback carousel chaos, and offenses that struggled to perform under pressure. Social media is exploding with outrage. Fans had hoped for innovation, perhaps a young offensive mind, someone who could reinvigorate a struggling roster. But instead, they got a pair of coaches seen as safe, corporate choices, out of touch with the culture of Atlanta football. The Falcons organization has been searching for an identity ever since Deion Sanders left. The city that once thrived on primetime swagger and high-energy dominance now faces a leadership duo with rigid systems and questionable creativity. Critics argue that Stefanski prefers quarterbacks who follow the playbook like robots, not gunslingers like Michael Penn Jr., Atlanta's high-variance rookie who thrives on deep passes and improvisation. Fans fear that forcing Penn into a strict system could stunt his growth and erase the excitement that made him the franchise's future. Meanwhile, the team's owner, Arthur Blank, is attempting to recreate the magic of a past Super Bowl run, chasing a system over personality approach. Analysts claim he's undervaluing the emotional and cultural needs of the team, focusing instead on a style reminiscent of Kyle Shanahan's offense. Football, however, is an emotional game, and ignoring the human side risks another multi-year setback for the franchise. The fallout is immediate. Ticket cancellations are being threatened, merchandise sales for the new coaching regime look bleak, and fan trust is eroding fast. Every decision, from staffing to play calling, is now under a microscope. Atlanta wanted excitement, innovation, and swagger, but for now, the city feels stuck in a corporate reboot that fans never asked for. The Falcons' new leadership faces a critical test. Can they win hearts and games, or will this experiment push the team and its fans into a deeper spiral of frustration? While Atlanta erupts in chaos, Cleveland is facing a different kind of instability, a vacuum at the top. With Kevin Stefanski and Tommy Rees departing for the Falcons, the Browns suddenly find themselves without a head coach or an offensive coordinator. For a franchise that has struggled to find consistency, this is a frightening scenario. Rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders, reportedly linked to Cleveland, now faces an uncertain future. A young QB needs guidance, mentorship, and a defined system before stepping into the NFL spotlight. Without a coaching staff in place, the depth chart is essentially a blank slate, leaving Shedeur vulnerable to growing pains that could derail his development before it even begins. The fear isn't just about who will be hired next, it's about fit. If the Browns rush to bring in a defensive-minded coach or a retread unable to handle a modern passing game, Sanders could be left isolated in a system that doesn't match his style. Reports suggest insiders are watching the situation nervously, warning that the wrong hire could trigger a chain reaction, forced trades, draft slide, or a lost season. The power of the Sanders family adds another layer of intrigue. Deion Sanders, with his legendary prime-time reputation, has been known to leverage his influence when it comes to his sons' careers. Some speculate that if the Browns make a poor coaching decision, he could quietly intervene, insisting Shedeur not sign or orchestrating a trade that protects his son's future. This situation in Cleveland is more than a coaching carousel. It's a potential turning point for the next generation of the NFL. Shedeur's rookie experience will be shaped not just by his talent, but by the leadership and stability, or lack thereof, provided by the team. Analysts are calling it spooky for a rookie, and for good reason. A single misstep by the front office could stall one of the league's most promising young quarterbacks before he even arrives. Meanwhile, fans are left anxiously waiting, aware that this season could determine the trajectory of their franchise for years. The Browns are on the brink, and the Sanders family is watching closely, ready to act if the team fails to deliver the structure that Shedeur needs. While the NFL churns with chaos, the Sanders family is running their own playbook on a global stage. Shedeur and Shedeur Sanders were spotted in Paris, not for football but front row at the exclusive Amiri fashion show, one of the most elite events in the fashion calendar. While most rookies grind in gyms or film rooms, the Sanders brothers were networking with top designers, flexing their style and building what insiders call prime equity. This isn't just about looks, it's a strategic play. Every appearance, every outfit, every post translates to millions in media value. Nike, Google, Gatorade, they aren't paying just for the athletic talent, they're investing in charisma, influence, and cultural relevance that transcends the gridiron. The Paris appearance also sparked a playful family debate that made headlines. For years, Deion Sanders defined swag in the NFL, from gold chains to high-stepping entrances. But now Shedeur claims the torch has passed. He joked that Deion often takes inspiration from the son's wardrobe, flipping the generational script. Shiloh, ever the personality, added that his closet has the better collection, thanks to more free time and freedom to explore style. These moments are more than playful banter, they signal the emergence of a new generation of Sanders' influence. They aren't living in prime time's shadow anymore, they're shaping what cool looks like for Gen Z, blending sports, fashion, and culture into one brand. Economically, the impact is staggering. Merchandise spikes every time they post an outfit. Brands pay to have them appear at shows. Their social media reach multiplies instantly, and each event builds their narrative as global icons. Compare this to Atlanta, where the Falcons' new hires are threatening to stall ticket sales and dampen merchandise revenue. One franchise struggles to inspire excitement and loyalty, while another is creating a booming economy based on authenticity, style, and winning energy. The contrast couldn't be clearer. Deion and his sons understand leverage. They operate on influence, cultural relevance, and performance both on and off the field. The NFL may be their job, but their brand is a business empire in motion. Atlanta faces fan backlash and economic uncertainty, while the Sanders brothers are cultivating a global powerhouse that mixes sports, entertainment, and fashion into one unstoppable machine. As the league navigates coaching chaos and mismatched hires, the Sanders family continues to win, not just with talent, but with strategy, charisma, and vision that extends far beyond the stadium. Back in Atlanta, the fallout from the Falcons' controversial hires is already hitting hard. Kevin Stefanski and Tommy Rhee arrived with big reputations, but fans aren't buying in. Ticket cancellations are being threatened, and merchandise sales tied to the new regime look bleak. Social media is a war zone, with critics calling the hires a class reunion of losers and questioning the competence of the front office. What was supposed to be a move towards stability now feels like a public relations disaster. The NFC South demands grit, excitement, and a connection to the city's swagger. Instead, fans see corporate caution, stale play calling, and a lack of emotional leadership. For Arthur Blank, the cost isn't just lost games, it's millions in revenue and years of credibility. Meanwhile, the Sanders family operates on the opposite model. Shedeur and Shiloh aren't just athletes, they're a global brand. From Paris Fashion Week to exclusive interviews with Complex, they're building influence that transcends football. Every outfit, every post, every public appearance translates to millions in media value, endorsements, and merchandise spikes. Their charisma, style, and authenticity create excitement wherever they go. They're teaching the next generation how to leverage talent into influence, blending sports, culture, and commerce seamlessly. The contrast is striking. One organization struggles to inspire loyalty, excitement, or confidence. Another turns visibility into a booming economy. Atlanta's corporate approach is risk-averse and formulaic. The Sanders approach is dynamic, bold, and culturally resonant. Deion Sanders, from his vantage point in Boulder, understands this leverage. He built a legacy in the NFL, but his sons are extending it globally, proving that winning is more than stats, it's influence, relevance, and timing. This isn't just a tale of two cities, it's a story of two strategies. One franchise is stalled by rigid systems, poor hires, and fan outrage. One family is thriving by staying authentic, capitalizing on charisma, and expanding their brand beyond borders. As the NFL enters another season of uncertainty, the lesson is clear. In today's game, influence off the field can be as powerful as dominance on it. While Atlanta's future looks uncertain, the Sanders empire keeps growing, proving that sometimes the real winners play in a league of their own making. While Atlanta fans are losing their minds over coaching hires, Shedeur and Shiloh Sanders are operating on an entirely different level, halfway across the world in Paris. The brothers weren't there for football. They were front-row guests at the Amiri fashion show, one of the most exclusive events on the global style calendar. While other rookies are grinding in gyms or studying playbooks, the Sanders brothers are networking with fashion elites, photographers, and top-tier designers. Every appearance they make turns into a media spectacle, and every outfit they wear generates millions in brand value. This isn't just luxury, it's influence. The Sanders brand extends far beyond football. Shedeur and Shiloh have become cultural icons, defining what cool looks like for Gen Z. Front row seats, designer outfits, and global exposure aren't just perks, they're strategic moves, expanding their reach beyond stadiums into lifestyle, fashion, and entertainment. Every Instagram post, every interview, every media appearance multiplies their value, turning them into walking, talking economic engines. During a complex interview in Paris, the brothers reignited a playful yet revealing debate: who has the best swag? For years, fans assumed their style came entirely from their father, Deion Sanders. But Shedeur flipped the script, claiming that even Deion now draws inspiration from the son's looks. It's a humorous moment, but it signals something bigger. The next generation is taking the cultural torch. Shiloh adds to the narrative, joking about his superior closet due to more free time, highlighting the charm and personality that makes brands like Nike, Google, and Gatorade invest heavily in them. The impact isn't just cultural, it's financial. Shedeur and Shiloh's presence at Paris shows, their posts, and even casual appearances drive merchandise sales, sponsorship buzz, and global attention. Their brand generates millions without stepping on a football field. Contrast this with the Falcons' situation. Ticket cancellations are looming, merchandise sales for the new coaching regime are in question, and fan engagement is dropping. The Sanders economy thrives because it's built on excitement, authenticity, and winning, not bureaucracy or corporate safety. In short, while the NFL debates coaches and coordinators, the Sanders brothers are proving that influence, branding, and cultural relevance can outpace wins on the field. Their global domination is a masterclass in combining sports, personality, and commerce, and it's a lesson Atlanta and the Falcons are currently failing to learn. The Sanders brothers aren't just dominating on fashion runways, they're redefining what it means to be a modern sports family brand. While football fans are obsessing over plays, hires, and draft picks, Shedeur and Shiloh are quietly building a global empire that blends athleticism, style, and business savvy. Every move they make reinforces the Prime legacy, but in a way that feels entirely their own. From Paris Fashion Week to exclusive brand collaborations, the brothers are showing the world that they aren't living in Deion Sanders' shadow, they're casting their own. Front row appearances at high-profile fashion shows aren't just for optics. Shedeur and Shiloh are meeting designers, negotiating partnerships, and creating a network that stretches across continents. The attention they command isn't passive, it's an active economic engine. Each outfit they post sparks engagement, boosts merchandise sales, and solidifies their marketability. Unlike traditional rookies who rely solely on on-field performance for recognition, the Sanders brothers are proving that influence off the field can rival and even surpass fame on it. Their recent complex interview in Paris highlighted the dynamic of their family branding. For years, fans credited Deion Sanders as the originator of Prime swag, gold chains, bandanas, luxury flair, but now the sons are subtly flipping the narrative. Shedeur claimed with a playful smirk that even Deion now takes style cues from them. Shiloh, ever the witty counterpart, joked about having the better wardrobe due to more free time. These lighthearted moments reveal a strategic truth. The Sanders brand thrives on personality, humor, and relatability, and it's these qualities that attract multinational brands like Nike, Google, and Gatorade. Financially, the numbers speak for themselves. Every public appearance, every post, every designer collaboration creates millions in media value. Their global appeal turns attention into currency and currency into opportunity. By contrast, the Falcons' new hires are struggling to generate excitement in Atlanta. Ticket cancellations are rumored, merchandise enthusiasm is low, and fan engagement is teetering. The brothers' approach, built on authenticity, style, and strategic presence, demonstrates that winning isn't just about touchdowns, it's about influence, visibility, and brand power. Ultimately, the Sanders family is showing a new blueprint for athletes in the modern era. Athletic talent is just one component. Personality, style, and business acumen can amplify a player's reach and value exponentially. While the Falcons fumble through coaching chaos, the Sanders brothers are a masterclass in leveraging family legacy into global dominance. They aren't just building careers, they're building an empire. While the Sanders brothers are expanding their global brand, the Atlanta Falcons are stumbling in the opposite direction. The Kevin Stefanski and Tommy rehires have ignited a full-scale fan revolt that's reverberating across social media, sports talk, and the local press. For a city that thrives on swagger, speed, and excitement, these hires feel like a cold, calculated corporate move. Fans aren't just disappointed, they're outraged. Ticket cancellations are being threatened, merchandise enthusiasm has plummeted, and the chatter online paints a picture of a franchise in chaos. The fan reaction is intense but predictable. Stefanski's tenure in Cleveland was underwhelming, marked by quarterback instability, a struggling offense, and what many analysts called mediocre play calling. Bringing him to Atlanta, fans fear is a repeat of history. Tommy Rhee, his offensive coordinator, compounds the worry. Once praised in college football, Rhee's NFL offenses have been criticized for stifling talent rather than maximizing it. With weapons like Bijan Robinson, Drake London, and Michael Penn Jr., Atlanta possesses elite talent, but fans worry these players might be boxed into a rigid system that doesn't suit their style. The narrative isn't just about strategy, it's about culture. Falcons supporters have long celebrated a city identity tied to charisma, risk-taking, and dominance. Hearing a coach and coordinator who value structure over personality challenges that identity. Social media comment sections are ablaze with fans dubbing it a class reunion of losers, mocking the hires as an unimaginative, safe choice. The backlash extends beyond commentary. Fan apathy translates into dollars lost. Merchandise sales for the new coaching staff are expected to underperform, season ticket renewals are at risk, and the broader perception of the franchise as exciting and dynamic is under attack. Owner Arthur Blank's decision appears rooted in chasing a system rather than a culture. Insiders suggest he admires the Kyle Shanahan-style offense and hopes Stefanski can replicate past success. But football is as much about leadership and connection as it is about schemes. Blindly prioritizing a coach who runs the system over one who inspires the locker room could backfire spectacularly. The Falcons risk alienating players and fans alike, undermining morale and setting back the franchise for years. In short, while the Sanders family is generating global excitement, the Falcons are struggling to maintain even local confidence. The contrast couldn't be starker. One side building influence and value, the other facing skepticism, frustration, and potential financial consequences. Atlanta's football future now hangs in a precarious balance, dependent not just on wins, but on whether the fan base ever forgives or buys into this controversial leadership experiment. The quarterback situation is where this Atlanta experiment truly becomes puzzling. Michael Penn Jr., the team's highly touted rookie, is a gunslinger in every sense, a player who thrives on creativity, deep throws, and high-risk, high-reward decisions. He's not a play-by-numbers quarterback. He reads defenses instinctively, improvises under pressure, and dares to push the ball downfield when others hesitate. He embodies excitement, something Atlanta fans crave after years of inconsistent performances. But Kevin Stefanski prefers a very different kind of quarterback, one who follows the script, turns their back on defenses during play action, and fits neatly into a rigid, controlled system. This stylistic mismatch raises red flags. History suggests Stefanski doesn't adjust his system to suit his players, he expects them to conform. We've seen this in Cleveland with Deshaun Watson and Baker Mayfield. Both talented quarterbacks were forced into restrictive schemes and both struggled as a result. Penn Jr. could face the same fate with creativity stifled and potential capped. Fans fear that instead of elevating Atlanta's young stars, the new coaching staff might limit them. Complicating matters further is the chemistry between a rookie quarterback and his offensive coordinator. Tommy Rhee's track record in the NFL is underwhelming. Critics argue he has consistently underutilized talent and constrained offenses that could otherwise shine. Pairing him with Penn Jr. introduces the risk of miscommunication, slowed development, and frustration on and off the field. A rookie quarterback needs stability, guidance, and freedom to play to his strengths, conditions that may be in short supply under this new regime. The pressure won't stop at the field either. Atlanta fans are notoriously unforgiving, especially when it comes to quarterbacks. If Penn Jr. struggles early due to system constraints, Stefanski will shoulder the blame, but so will the young signal caller in the eyes of impatient supporters. Every misread, every incompletion, every stalled drive will be magnified. Social media and local sports radio will explode, framing the narrative as either a rookie failure or a coaching disaster. Ultimately, the Penn Jr. Stefanski dynamic could define the Falcons' next decade. It's more than a stylistic clash, it's a philosophical battle between innovation and conformity, talent and structure, excitement and control. If Atlanta wants to reclaim its swagger, Penn Jr. needs room to breathe. If Stefanski imposes his system without compromise, the Falcons risk alienating the fan base, wasting young talent, and repeating mistakes that have haunted the franchise for years. For Michael Penn Jr., this season isn't just a debut, it's a test of whether he can thrive under pressure, or if he will be boxed in before he ever reaches his full potential.